मंडे आ गया है. इट्स 12th of June सुबह के 9 बजे एंड इसीलिए सीए मनु पलेरिचल हमारे साथ होंगे. उनसे हम बात करेंगे. नाउ पिछले हफ्ते वी स्पोक अबाउट क्वालिफाइंग इनकम, नॉन क्वालिफाइंग इनकम एंड फ्री जोन स्पेसिफिकली. इस हफ्ते भी हम सीए मनु से यही बात करेंगे एंड ऑल्सो फ्राइडे को भी इस पे और अवेयरनेस लाने के लिए एक्सपर्ट हमारे साथ होंगे.
बिल्कुल. इनफैक्ट देयर वाज अ सर्वे दैट वाज कंडक्टेड एंड आउट ऑफ इट around 100 queries came in for free zones then followed in fact by exemptions and deductions and then by the other queries put across. To talk to us more about it is CA Manu, and he's a passionate professional, a CEO and partner of Emirates Chartered Accountants Group, a chartered accountant with more than 25 years of extensive experience in the fields of finance, accounts, audit, taxation and management consultancy. He is a tax and ESR expert with practical experience of VAT in the UAE and Bahrain and has conducted more than 250 workshops in the UAE and Bahrain for public listed companies, banks, corporates and SMEs across the UAE and Bahrain on different topics like value-added tax, excise tax, economic substance regulations, etc. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Exercise tax सुन के मुझे एक्चुअली में पसीना आ गया एक्चुअली.
Excise tax.
कि एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हो तो उस पर भी टैक्स भरना पड़ेगा. बट या टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑफ कोर्स कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स, इट्स बीन इम्प्लीमेंटेड ऑलरेडी. Qualifying, non-qualifying income. We had a very detailed discussion with C. Anurag on last week.
Yeah.
And today we'll be discussing something more about that as well. You know, free zones and qualifying income, non-qualifying income. So let's start with free zone. What is a free zone company?
Yeah, Vivek. And once again, thank you so much for inviting me. And last time, 2 weeks back, also I was in the same platform. At that time, the free zones regulation or this clarification was not released.
Right.
So it was released maybe around 10 days back, and then there onwards, the experts and the market is doing brainstorming on the applicability of the regulations, and then clarity is being given. So actually, when free zones there are around 40 plus free zones in the UAE. So when free zones were started in the UAE, and then companies which are opening in such a free zones, registering companies in such a free zones were allowed to get a tax-free holidays, maybe 40 years or 50 years, depends upon the free zones. Yeah. So when corporate tax comes, those companies which are registered in such a free zone should get that benefit of tax-free holidays. If whatever tax system comes in the UAE should not be applicable for them.
Correct.
So the new regulation, corporate tax, which is it's already implemented from 1st June 2023. It has a provision which explains what are the terms and conditions to be satisfied to get such a benefit.
Okay.
So any company registered in the free zone, any of the free zone, if they satisfy certain conditions, they will be eligible to get the 0% benefit.
Perfect.
Correct.
Yeah, amazing.
So normally the taxation is 9% in the UAE. That everybody knows. First profit of 375,000 profit is 0%. After that 9%.
Right.
Free zone companies which satisfy certain conditions. So I'll explain what are those conditions. So if a free zone company registered in the UAE satisfies 6 conditions, then they will be eligible to be considered as a qualifying free zone person. When qualifying free zone person, they will be eligible to consider at a qualifying rate called a 0%.
Okay.
There's a special rate given.
Okay.
For example, suppose a company is registered in a UAE free zone. It should maintain, the first point is that it should maintain substance. Then what is substance? Substance means the main activity of the company should be core income generating activity, it is called. It should be conducted in the free zone itself. Not that companies registered in free zone, you are operating from mainland. Not that companies registered in free zone and your employees are sitting in mainland. Not that you are registered in free zone and then all expenses you are incurring, all assets you are incurring in mainland. It should be in the free zone itself, because you formed a company and the company is in free zone. It should really work in the free zone.
Right.
It may be generally, maybe a little comparatively, maybe a distance for the people who are staying in main area of Dubai, maybe in New Dubai or in Dera, for example. So people, if they think that after opening the company in free zone, they think that okay, we will work from home. or we will work in the office which is located in the mainland.
Right.
So that for the comfortability and all, it will not work out. Substance of the
But
company
businesses
should.
have taken licenses of the free zone and sole
Yeah.
proprietorship and are sitting at home and working.
Yeah.
And this is a very important
Yeah,
point.
correct. This kind of companies, whichever the sole establishment, which is having a license, or in the LLC company, whichever kind of company which is operating from the mainland will not get this eligibility. People sitting in mainland and then operating in free zone will not get this eligibility. That is one condition.
Okay.
Then second condition, the companies which are registered there should comply with the transfer pricing compliance, which we already discussed.
Right.
That means it should deal with their related companies or related parties in same way how they are dealing with the third parties. The price between the price for the transaction should be at a same arm's length. That's the technical word used, which we already explained. Market knows about it. Should be in line with the normal market price.
But the threshold is $200 million for those companies to adopt transfer pricing practices?
No, there is no threshold for applying the transfer pricing for every company. This is applicable.
Okay.
But there are certain documentation requirements, which is little high level documentation requirements called master file and local file.
Correct.
That regulation, that documentation is applicable only for companies which are having turnover more than 200 million. As you rightly said, you learned lakhs a lot, Vivek.
Little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or if it is part of a multinational entities which is
Correct.
having turnover more than 3.15 billion.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
Now, see, Manu, I want to ask you this question. You said that if, I have a freelance or if I have a license from the free zone, I
Yeah.
cannot operate in the mainland, correct? But
You can operate, but
but
you'll be
you will not
subject to-
get the benefit of 0%.
Right. Were these pointers, identified at the start? When are people aware or businesses aware of all of this, or is this now because we have corporate act coming into
No.
play? Is that why there's been a
Yeah,
bit of a-
actually, when we start the company in the free zone itself, free zone is giving the guidelines. The operation has to be in free zone.
Okay.
But there are certain cases where people operate. They do not comply exactly for the compliance of requirements of the free zone. That is why they are losing this benefit. If they are doing that benefit, they are doing the business within the free zone, they will get this benefit of 0%. It's not there are certain free zones. For example, there are even we are sitting in a free zone. But we don't have any customs controlled area where this is an open free zone. It's not a designated free zone.
Correct,
So
correct.
we work like a mainland.
Right.
There is no control between the entry exit point between
Right.
this free zone and then mainland.
Right.
So people do not understand what is exactly to be complied with this kind of mainland. So we serve in the mainland, we serve in the free zone. People come from the mainland and then get the service from here. So little wherever the what is the purpose of free zone? If that is not met, this benefit is not available. That's what the condition says. One, I said that substance. The other one, transfer pricing compliance has to be met.
Right.
Then audit is mandatory for the companies which are which are there in the free zone, whatever turnover. If they want to get the free zone benefit of 0% as a qualifying free zone, they should do the auditing.
Okay.
So there are many compliance requirements like this, and they should not choose for taxing at 9% if that option also available. So as a
Okay.
free zone, we can choose an option. I don't want to comply all those requirements, so I will be taxed at a normal rate 9%. Then I can choose it.
Okay.
So that is a special provision is given. Suppose you are not choosing that one, you can opt for free zone option, that is 0%.
Okay.
Then there is very important point which we should learn here.
Right.
Remember, if I chose to be a qualifying free zone, but during the course of my tax
Activities,
period activities, I lost this benefit. Like I may not be having substance in the free zone. I might have employed people in the mainland, or if I am not doing the auditing, or if I am not complying with the transfer pricing. If any of these requirements are coming, then I will lose the benefit of qualified free zone persons, and I cannot apply for this benefit not only this year, next 4 years. So for next current year onwards, 5 years, I will lose this benefit. So first point is that any free zone company which is planning for getting the benefit of 0% should plan in advance. And if you are able to comply with this requirements of the 6 conditions, then only they should apply for it, if they are going to violate this one, if they are not able to comply with this one, these requirements, you are not going to lose only this year, next 4 years or so, you are going to lose this benefit.
So this is very
That's
crucial.
Very crucial.
We'll discuss more on this. अगर आपके पास भी कोई सवाल है, सीए मनु हमारे साथ है. Freezone कंपनीज की बात कर रहे हैं. Compliance with corporate tax as well. This is Talk Compliance brought to you by Tally Solutions. Number to get in touch 0586861003.
Talk 100.3.
We are joined by CA Manu. Now he's, actually busting the myths around free zones, qualified persons, and so much more when corporate tax is concerned. Most of the queries have come in for free zone as a segment. A lot of people not understanding what to do and what not to do. A lot of businesses restructuring as well. CA Manu, if you could talk to us a little bit more about this, how have businesses now restructured their activities because they want to gain more from
Benefit.
where they are, where they are at, or have they made the move to the mainland already?
Yeah, Umral. So just giving input on restructuring, I would like to just highlight. In corporate tax, the confusion in the free zone is that suppose they are having one activity and then whether this is a taxable or not, whether this is getting eligibility of 0% or not.
Right.
This is what one person has to understand. So suppose we are doing this show here and the revenue for the radio, whether this is taxable or not. If we sit in mainland and then do the same operation, whether we'll get any tax benefit or not. If anyone is doing any logistic activity in the free zone and whether they will get a 0% or if they are doing this or if whether 9%. These are the areas which people should understand. So let us start the discussion from there.
Okay.
So since it is a little complicated, a little confusing in first reading or second reading, that's why I made a 4-step solution for this free zone transactions.
Which you recently presented at ICAI, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And lot of industry experts and peers as well took advantage of it. So this is very valuable information you're sharing, CA Manu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vivek. Yeah. So it is I made it in 4 steps. So first person who's registered in the free zone should understand. So to get this eligibility, as the first step, know yourself. I used to say, know yourself. You should know who are you.
Correct.
Right.
That means whether you are a qualifying free zone person or not. Know yourself.
Correct.
Then you should check KYC, know your customer.
Perfect. Yeah.
Second step is know your customer. Then you should know your activity. KYA, kya hai, kya karta hai. So you should know.
Beautiful. Yeah, very nice. Good
Then
explanation.
you will get your kit. That is KYT.
Okay.
You will know your tax. So these are the 4 steps. This is very seriously written in the law. So these are the 4 steps. First, you should know yourself. I'm not talking philosophy. I'm talking tax only here.
Correct,
Yourself. Whether you are eligible to be considered as a qualifying free zone person. For that, certain conditions to be to be satisfied. That's what I said, around 6 conditions to be satisfied.
Yeah.
Right.
So first, I am registered in free zone. I will check myself whether I am a qualifying free zone by checking these 6 conditions. If I am eligible, if I am satisfying all the 6 conditions, then I will go to next step. What about your customer?
Okay.
With whom you are dealing? Whether you are dealing with the mainland by sitting in free zone, or you are dealing with in the free zone, whether you are dealing with another free zone, whether you are dealing with overseas, or whether you are dealing with a natural person.
Correct.
These are the 5 categories we have to look into with whom you are dealing with.
So if you have to put a business into perspective and talk to us in a business sense as an export of, I don't know, tea,
For example,
or
an
coffee.
e-commerce company
Yeah.
who's
An
doing
e-commerce
business.
company, okay.
Yeah.
If they're doing business in mainland,
Yeah.
then they're not eligible.
If they are, in mainland, definitely not eligible. That's what first step we have to see.
Yeah. Who your customers
Yeah,
are.
I know. Before that, who are you?
Who are
Who
you?
are me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Know yourself. KYS. So I am in mainland, so I am not a qualifying free zone person. Basically, I am not
Basic is-
eligible.
yeah.
Then I will go to free zone. Then if I am registered in free zone, then I will check whether I am eligible to be considered as a qualifying free zone person by checking the 6 conditions.
Correct.
Right.
If I am eligible, then I will check, as you said, that know your customer. So whether in e-commerce or any service industry or anything, whether I am dealing with the customer in the free zone or with another free zone, or in the mainland or overseas or with a natural person.
Correct.
If I am doing any transaction with your mainland or overseas, certain transactions called qualifying income will be eligible to be considered as a 0%.
Okay.
When you are dealing with a free zone, within the free zone or with another free zone person, then you are eligible to be considered as qualifying free zone qualifying income for almost all the transaction, except there are certain activities which are called excluded.
Okay.
We will go in detail step by step. And if you are dealing with a natural person like me and you, company is dealing with,
Right.
then only even I would say 4 activities will be considered as 0%. All other services or transaction will be considered as 9%.
Okay.
So now we reached a stage, these 4 steps. First we should know ourselves, then we should know who's our customer,
yeah.
then do check what is the activity we are doing. That's why here I mentioned, once we identify our customer activity, whether it is a qualifying activity or excluded activity, we have to check.
Okay.
Then finally we will find out the tax rate.
Correct.
What are the excluded activities?
There are 5 activities which are called excluded activity. I'll discuss with an example, that is banking services. So if a company is registered in a free zone
Okay.
as a bank and doing services from the bank, whether they are doing services to mainland or free zone anywhere, it will be excluded activity and will be taxed at always at 9%.
You know, there are certain supermarkets as well which are only based in free zone and who only serve there. But then if customers come from outside, will that be considered? How do you gauge that?
Yeah, that is another interesting area where we have to. So I'll tell step by step. First, this it is always better to go step by step. That's why I go like this, for that everybody can take a decision for any transaction.
Right.
First we have to see whether a company is registered in free zone or not. Yes, company is registered in free zone.
Yeah.
Whether eligible to be considered as qualifying free zone, that 6th condition. Because free zone, in the free zone everybody is working there, so we are eligible to be considered as a qualifying free zone.
Correct.
Next, who's your customer? Whether customer is a company or whether it's a natural person. For a supermarket, it will be always natural person. Then we will see excluded activities.
Okay.
In the excluded activity, 4 activities will be considered as eligible to be 0%. All other activities will be 9%.
9%.
What are those? One, here also I made an acronym to remember.
Okay.
I say FAWAS.
Okay.
FWAS.
Okay.
Again, this is an interesting conversation. We're
Yeah.
going to hold you on a bit longer, but we'll get back just after this.
Talk 100.3.
Welcome to Daybreak with Vivek, Sanal and myself, Meerul Lisa, currently joined in by CA Manu. We are talking to you about free zones and understanding business activities around the corner.
फवास के बारे में हम जानेंगे.
Yeah, FAWAS is the luckiest person because he is not a taxable in free zone. It's an acronym.
Okay.
So FAWAS I call FWAS.
Okay.
Fund management activity. If you are giving that service to a natural person, we will get 0% benefit.
Okay.
Then W, wealth and investment services. If you are giving, then we will get the 0% benefit.
Okay.
Okay.
Then FAWAS, then aircraft,
Okay.
financing and leasing of aircraft, including engines and rotable components. So little complicated. So if we are giving, as a company, giving financing and leasing services to a aircraft to a natural person, if a natural person is getting the benefit, then so leave that one. I am saying that it is not for common discussion.
Okay.
Next one, operation, management and ownership of ship.
Ship. Okay.
For that is called FAWAS. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So again, fund, wealth, aircraft and ship.
Ship.
So aircraft and ships I keep a little aside because it is not a
normal,
not normal.
Yeah.
So only for these 4 activities, if we are giving to a natural person, then we will get 0%. So FAWAS, so fund and fund management and wealth and investment management. So mainly these are the 2 activities,
Right.
common activities.
Right.
So anybody asks, even to Vivek or Murray, so check either the supermarket or any other services or any cafeteria or any marketing category. If you are
Correct.
giving to natural person, everybody can say that it is taxable.
It is taxable.
Only 4 activities for us. Out of that, mainly 2 we can say. So all other activities. So now let us take a decision whether the service which you are giving from the studio is taxable or not.
Not? It is?
It is.
It is.
Because
yeah,
not?
yeah.
Because this
Why
message
not? Yeah.
reaches the whole of
it
UAE.
Yeah, correct. The beneficiaries
all,
are people like
yeah.
me. When I leave the studio, I will listen to your radio.
Absolutely.
So tell me something, CA Manu. Now, right now, we've already excluded couple of sectors and couple of things
Businesses.
from businesses from the entire
Purview
gambit
of corporate,
things.
Yeah.
But now, right now, moving forward, will they eventually see the daylight where they will also be taxed, or is this?
For example, the
a
services
question.
that you offer,
Yeah.
the companies which are excluded,
Yeah.
will they also come into it eventually later on, or they will be excluded?
No, whatever already excluded will be always excluded because this is already a ministerial decision. So what we can expect is more exclusion. Let us take a positive thing.
Arey wah.
So let us we keep a
मन में
positive.
लड्डू फूटा.
But whatever excluded is whatever is taxable only will be taxable. Whatever not excluded, all the benefits we will get. What are qualifying, that also we will get the benefit.
Right.
Now I said only 2, 3, 4 activities which is a tax, which is not a taxable. Other than everything is taxable for a natural person. So I don't want to stick on natural person itself because only very few items are not taxable. But let us go to the next level.
Okay.
Next level.
Okay.
So there are many areas. I'll consider in Freezone itself, as we say, that the 4 step for Freezone person registered in Freezone, maintaining all the 6 conditions, then going and giving service or goods to a company registered in the Freezone itself.
Correct.
Let us see which are those which are getting the benefits.
Okay.
So company which is there in the free zone and giving service or goods to the another free zone in the same free zone,
Right.
only 6 categories of items are excluded. All other items are getting the
Okay.
are getting 0% benefit.
0% benefit. Okay,
So in
okay.
free zone there are a lot of benefits.
Okay. Okay.
So suppose you are doing any activity like logistics or a sale of goods or even the manufacturing and selling, all these activities you are getting the benefit. If you are giving any advertising service within the free zone, you are getting the benefit. If you are even doing the management consultancy, or even we are doing the tax advisory service. Suppose my company is in TCOM and I am doing the service only to the companies in TCOM or any other free zone
Okay.
in the UAE, I will get the benefit.
Absolutely. So as a free zone, if I am establishing companies which are going to, establish business in mainland,
Yeah.
so will I be taxed for the revenue that I generate for that business?
Yeah, when you are in free zone and then doing business with the mainland or you are doing business with outside UAE, you will be taxed for 9%.
Example, I'm a free zone
Yeah.
company,
Yeah.
and my free zone company is issuing licenses to companies which are going to
Operate in mainland.
So will that revenue come under?
No, you are a company registered in free zone.
I'm a free zone.
Yeah.
You are a free zone.
Yeah, even
okay,
free
but
zones will have to be.
yeah, correct. No, I'm not talking about the taxable applicability of the free zone. This is
No, this is
yeah, it is a
bigger-
little bit, bigger picture because this is the government
will
or
have to
government
pay, right?
government or government controlled authorities need not to pay
Need
about
not
tax,
pay, okay.
but companies registered in free zone which
They
are giving
have
service to mainland or overseas or within the free zone certain activity, they have to pay.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
We will move on with this, the interesting point that you have. News and sports. अगर आपके पास सवाल 0003. This is Talk Compliance, brought to you by Tally Solutions.
Talk 100.3.
Good morning, and right now we are still in conversation with CA Manu, who is the CEO and a partner of Emirates Chartered Accountants Group. He's here talking to us about corporate tax. CA Manu, please continue. We were talking about a very important subject and then we had to break.
Yeah. As I said, when we are having the free zone company, and there are certain, as I explained, excluded activity. If you are doing within the free zone, other than excluded activity, everything will be getting a benefit of 0%.
Okay. Okay.
If you are doing transactions with the mainland companies, certain activities called qualifying in activity. 12 activities are there.
Okay.
They will be considered as getting 0%. Suppose I am in a free zone and doing certain services or goods with the mainland. My customer is in mainland. Suppose I am manufacturing in free zone and selling to mainland, I will get 0%.
Okay.
Or I am processing and selling to mainland, I will get the free zone 0% benefit.
Okay.
Suppose I am doing any logistics activity, I will get the 0% benefit even though I am doing service to mainland or the overseas. Here the very important point, earlier Murray was asking me whether there will be a shift of companies from free zone to mainland or mainland to free zone. For a typical example, just 1 million dirham worth of advice I am giving you now. A free zone, a company which is having a logistic activity, doing business in mainland has to pay 9%.
Correct.
If they are moving to free zone and doing logistics activity within the free zone or overseas or to the mainland, they will. It is called an qualifying activity, and qualifying income will not be taxable, so they will get 0% benefit.
Which is amazing. I know a lot of companies are based in Jebel Ali Free Zone who are completely into logistics.
They will get, they can get the 0% benefit provided.
But huge companies.
Provided.
There is a provided.
There's provided. If they are giving service to natural person,
Then no.
then they will not lose that. They will not get the benefit of
Correct.
0%. There are certain conditions. This one
Okay.
is called a little bit technical word I would like to bring here. De minimis rule.
Okay.
So it may take 2-3 minutes for us to discuss that
Understand,
point.
yeah.
Suppose a Jebel Ali company is, in this typical example, a Jebel Ali company which is doing logistics activity.
Okay.
Their turnover is 100 million, for example. Suppose they are doing service to a natural person. If they are doing 1 million worth of service to natural person, then still he can continue with the 0%.
Okay.
Suppose he does up to 4 million service to natural person turnover, total turnover, then also he can continue with the 0%. But if it cross 5% of the total turnover or 5 million dirhams, then he will not get the 0%. He will shift from that to 9% for entire revenue.
Okay.
So this is the key point here. It is called a de minimis rule. If your non-qualifying income, which is excluded activity or other than qualifying activities, more than 5% of the total revenue or 5 million,
Okay.
whichever is lower, little technical, with an example I will explain again,
Okay.
then you will shift from 0% to 9%. Once again,
Okay.
suppose your company is having turnover only 10 million
Correct.
and you are doing the same activity of logistics. Suppose this activity you are giving to natural person 1 million.
Okay.
Then also you will shift everything to 9% because it is more than 5% of the turnover.
Total. So that one will not be excluded. It
One will not be,
included.
everything will be
Nice.
considered as 9%. So this is what I would like to again highlight.
So natural
we should-
persons, if you do staying in free zone, then you will come under the purview.
Yeah, provided you are doing the business with the more than 5%
More than
of the
5%.
total turnover.
Yeah, but there
or
are
more than
huge
5 million.
companies. There
Yeah.
are huge logistic companies.
Yeah, most of the logistics companies are doing with a B2B with the
Right.
company.
They don't do with
They don't
natural
do with
person,
natural person.
yeah.
But there are certain companies like Danata and this kind of companies to retail, Aramex and all, they are doing service to us.
Right.
Yeah, then
right.
that will be taxable even though they are
Amazon?
in free zone.
Amazon.
Amazon is also-
Amazon services. If it is a product, then product is not directly sold by Amazon. This are through the outlet. So the treatment is entirely different.
Okay.
Service activity will be taxable if it is, since it is being done to natural person.
Right. So have businesses understood, the dynamics of everything?
ये हम जानेंगे सीए मनु से. आपके पास भी सवाल, you can always get in touch with us 0586861003. This is Talk Compliance brought to you by Tally Solutions. Stay tuned.
Talk 100.3.
Welcome to Daybreak with Vivek Sanal and myself, Murul Disa. Still in conversation with CA Manu. We're talking to him about corporate tax. CA Manu, before we could go on a break, I asked you this question, that have businesses already understood the dynamics of the game, especially the ones that are in the free zone, or are they still still left seeking answers? Because according to the research, the study that was done, a lot of people seem a little bit unclear where the free zones are concerned.
Yeah, that is still a lot of clarifications required for the companies which are registered in free zone. People, the companies registered in free zone simply believe that everything will be free for them. It's not like that.
Right.
They have to satisfy certain conditions. And
Nothing
then
is free.
Nothing
There
is
is
free.
nothing
Yeah.
called free lunch.
Yeah.
On a lighter note, Anuj sent us a question. He's asking, what does CA Manu mean when he says natural person?
Natural person, like who's asking that question?
Anuj Tyagarajan.
Yeah, Anu Tyagarajan, you and me are natural persons. And everybody who's staying here as a natural person, like me and you as an individual.
Okay.
Then there is one more leg to that one.
Okay.
Suppose I am having a company as a sole establishment. It is not a company. We call it as a company. It is not a company because it is a sole establishment. It's my own. It's in my own name. When we form a company as per LLC, limited liability company, as per the Commercial Company Act of 2015, then it's a legal person. Or any other act, if you are forming another legal entity, then that is a legal entity which is having its own legal rights, its own independence, its own separation from the natural person, from the shareholders. If I have a sole establishment, me and this business one and the same, I have to register in my name or in that sole establishment name only. I cannot separate it from my personal activity.
Okay.
So, in short, suppose I have an LLC company, it could be a single person LLC company. Maybe I may be opening ABC single person
or
LLC
in your own name.
Right.
For
In my
example,
own
CA Manu LLC.
Manu LLC.
Ah.
And I am the only owner.
Right.
But company is separate, it has got a limited liability.
Correct.
So if any liability comes for the company, my responsibility as a shareholder will be only to the extent of the share value in the company.
Okay.
Maybe 300,000 or whatever the amount I am registering as a share capital.
Okay.
I need not pay anything else for the company if I didn't take any personal responsibility like a sign in the check or personal guarantee for anything for the operations.
Correct.
My liability is limited only to 300,000. When it is coming to sole establishment, whatever loss the sole establishment is incurring, everything I have to take the responsibility in my personal name.
Okay.
That is why that is a corporate structure. The world, the corporate structure also came because the legal person is separated from the natural person. The corporate is separated from the natural person. That's why even we can see a lot of cases in India also. Company is bankrupt,
Yeah.
but the owner is the high net worth individual now also.
Yeah.
Like Vijay Mallya enjoying.
I don't
Very
want
nice.
to.
Very good.
It is, yeah.
Shabash.
Yeah.
Aapne
So
to
that's
matlab-
a typical example. So natural person, Anuj. So me and you, natural person. So we are a company is doing service to a natural person or to a sole establishment. We will we have to treat this as a service to or the trading goods to natural person. So tax will be applicable accordingly.
Right.
Superb.
Now, this
Then-
brings me to my major
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Are we done with all the points?
No,
This
there
point
are
is important.
many. This is just the explanation. There are
Yeah.
some more.
The other point what you were asking is that whether the free zones understood this clarity on this one or not. 99% the companies, especially SMEs registered in the free zone, didn't understand it so far.
Right.
We had to give a lot of awareness. That's why Tally is bringing here with the support of Talk FM. So it's a great initiative. That's why Tally is giving more priority for free zone in this week. Last week we had a session on free zone.
Correct.
Today
Right.
also we are having, and then this week Friday also we are having on the same topic because people should understand it. People should not just to go to the free zone and open the company and then thinking that they need not pay tax and later they should not cry and blame someone thinking that I thought like that. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
It is not acceptable only.
Not
Yeah.
acceptable also. Yeah. So we have to learn. We have to, as a professionals, we as Emerald Chartered Accountants also doing a lot of awareness session. We are having one public session day after tomorrow. Last week we had a webinar also on this. Around 500 plus people attended the session. So we are
Right.
doing this kind of sessions from ourselves also.
Right.
So awareness is very important. And people think that opening in free zone, everything is free. Not like that. Even one example I would like to add to that one. Taxability of buildings or the properties in the free zone.
Okay.
Suppose we are talk of having a property here, or your own which you are renting out here.
Right.
A part is free. You already leased it, sublease. Then you can lease out to someone else also, and that whether the rent which is coming from that one taxable or not.
Okay.
If you are doing this activity of sublease or lease or sale of property to another free zone company, then it is 0%.
Oh, nice. Because it's within the free
Within the free zone, and the person enjoying is your free zone person. Know your customer, KYC.
Yeah.
Suppose I take it as a natural person, it will be taxable. If my company in mainland is leasing it out, coming as a tenant, it will be taxable.
Right.
But if you are having a accommodation, or as a hotel or accommodation or anything for talk of firm, and that is leased out, then even though a company coming from the free zone itself, it will be taxable. So little bit we have to understand in this one of the taxability. So each transaction we have to bifurcate it and understand whether that part of the transaction is taxable or not.
Now this has brought to me another question. As a developer, a lot of property developers have residences in free zone as well.
Yeah.
So that will also come under, because natural person is coming and staying
there.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah. Residence, whether it is hotel or any apartments or anything,
which the developer
profit,
sells.
Correct. If they are making profit out of it, the profit will be taxable. So we immediately connected the residence accommodation related, which came in VAT, was not taxable.
Right.
VAT is not taxable for the land rent we are paying.
Correct. Yeah.
But here the case is different. There the priority, government has given priority for the residents in the UAE, because who is paying rent?
Tenant.
People like us are paying for residing. So we need not pay 5%. But when we come to the corporate tax, anyway corporate tax is not paid by people like me and you. It is not the end user paying, it is doing by the business who is making profit.
Correct.
So anyway, if they are making profit, whether it is from the resident or the commercial, let them pay.
Perfect.
Will this be also levied eventually then on the end customers? Will you see the
for
prices?
that
No, never.
That we have VAT.
Yeah.
You'll not see corporate tax being reflected on other bills?
The
you are
cost
going
increasing,
because of corporate tax, cost is not increasing, only the profit of the owner is reducing to the extent of 9%. That also very small amount when we compare with the world tax rate. 9%. Very small amount when we compare with the 30%, 40% rate and all. Even UK natural person individuals are paying 40 plus. My brother is staying there. His tax bracket is 40 plus.
Amazing.
So this kind of tax we are paying in there. And when you ask me whether it will go to natural person, people like me and you, I would like to connect it. Government is not planning to implement income tax for people like us. Salary or income which we are earning in personal capacity will not be taxable. So
and even if it comes, there will be slabs, right?
Yeah. So let us say it will not come.
It will not come.
It will not come. That is the beauty of UAE.
Okay.
Because UAE is not very much keen on earning income. The country is not keen on earning income from tax.
The main
it
idea
is for the compliance.
Yeah.
It is the requirement from the overseas
OECD.
That is why we are implementing corporate tax also. So the compliance is for the corporate tax, corporates, not for natural persons.
Right.
So don't expect any income tax in the UAE. So that is clearly mentioned that income tax will not be there in the UAE for the persons, only for businesses.
Okay.
Right.
In the future, you think 9% will be increased corporate tax for free zone companies?
No. I don't think that it will come like that, because our objective is to keep very interesting rate in the UAE. But Vivek, I think you are thinking more than what I am thinking in taxation.
He's thinking and he's worrying everybody else.
Yeah, correct. Vivek, are you touching upon the global minimum tax of 15%?
Yes.
Because we discussed it last time.
Yeah.
So the companies which are in free zone, which having part of multinational entities which are having global turnover more than 3.15 billion.
Correct.
OECD is bringing up a new rule called Pillar 2 solution, which is bringing that 15% average tax should be there for globally for them.
Like Google, like big companies Meta, and European Commission has come up with that, right? So it's being implemented?
So it is not implemented, expected in 2024.
Okay.
So the average taxation. So when I am coming back to your question, suppose a company which is having in UK 50 million turnover and UAE 50 million turnover or whatever means it is a 500 million turnover in
Right.
euro turnover
Euro.
because it has to cross 3.15 billion.
Yeah.
Suppose in UAE they are having 2 billion turnover and UK there are 2 billion turnover. In UAE they may be charging 9%. In UK they will be charging, for example, I am taking a rough figure of 25%.
Okay.
So what is the average tax? Average tax is more than 15%.
Correct. Yes.
Then there would no chance of changing the tax rule in the UAE of 9%. If such average rate is not reaching 15% for the companies or the multinational entities, there is a chance of increasing this rate.
Okay.
We cannot say exactly it will be 15% in UAE. It may vary.
It may
Let us wait for that one. Anyway, let us wait for next 1.5 year. It will not come by end of 2024 also. So when that is coming, we will have a separate talk on it. So
we
now
should.
we have enough time. It is not for small companies also. It is coming only for MNCs which are having turnover more than 3.15 billion. So nothing to worry about it.
Okay.
Nothing to think about it. Only big corporates have to plan. Let them plan.
Super. Nice. And for more information, they can always get in touch with you on LinkedIn as well. CA Manu Palerichal.
Yeah, right.
You know, I want to ask you one last question before we end this conversation. It is about, has the corporate tax now not defined, when you say free zone,
Yeah.
the whole purpose of going into a free zone and having a license from the free zone was because I don't want to pay the tax. I don't want to be taxed. Now 0% tax.
Yeah.
Why do I, if you're telling me it's not taxable, then why have the 0% tax added over there?
Okay. Two, I want to split this question into two. I don't know whether you will be happy or not. The whole purpose of starting a company in free zone is not for getting the 0% benefit only. The facility what the government is giving, the infrastructure facility,
Right.
the transportation facility, globally, see, generally how easy for us to reach out to the other world, and also the other companies are coming here for using that infrastructure facility and then workforce and then ease of doing business.
Right.
Number two, the taxation now there when we started the company in free zone, the contract says that tax free, it will be tax holidays will be there for 20 years or 50 years, subject to you comply with the regulations.
Okay.
If you don't, free zones regulations.
Right.
If you don't comply with the regulations, then it will be taxable. So if you don't comply with if you comply with the regulation, then it is getting a benefit of tax to zero. No tax.
Correct.
Not exempted. Government is exempted. It is, you are not exempted. If you are not complying with, you will put in the bracket of 9%. If you are complying with, no tax. No tax means no tax.
But for
Zero.
how long?
Depends upon the contract. Like 50 years, it's already signed by many free zones. So even minister has the right to extend it further 50 years.
Okay.
It has got, right.
Right.
Now no free zone crossed 50 years.
Right. Yeah.
No free zone crossed 50 years. So we have enough time. Jabalali is one of the oldest free
Oldest
zone.
free zones.
Yeah, so we have enough time. So later ministry will decide about it.
Right.
As of now, 0%, once again I am coming back. Why 0% is that? Because if you are not complying, it is in the tax bracket, but eligibility is zero. That is a special, what they said is that you are not outside the scope of tax. You are doing a business, tax is zero.
Right. Super, and which is fantastic. I think the government is really in that way meeting the compliance needs also, and also taking care of the ease of business angle
Correct.
as well. Yeah.
Correct.
Thank
You
you
know-
so very much, CA Manu, for taking time out and coming to our show and explaining about corporate tax, free zones, educating us and clarifying all our doubts.
Thank you so much, Narayil, and thank you, Vivek.
Thank you.